Michael Burke says free speech is under threat at the BBC, and as we said on this programme last week, Ofcom, the regulator, says the BBC must try harder on impartiality.
Right.
Tricky games, tricky times for Auntie.
Absolutely, and he's not wrong. Michael Burke is 100% right about all of this. He's just having the guts to say it out loud, and it's difficult for someone within the organisation, presumably, to criticise his own organisation. But, of course, he's such a veteran, he's so established that he's in the position to do so. And he did this in an interview with the Radio Times. And he's talked about how the BBC is, I mean, he didn't use this word quite, but it is systemically woke, if we're going to use the word woke to describe this thing.
And is that in the selection of subjects they debate? Because it's a great programme, and as I said, you did it for a long time, or the guests that they have, or what?
Well, the Moral Maze actually is, and I think this is what he's alluding to, the Moral Maze is the last bastion of that kind of cut and thrust of debate, that last free speech sort of area within Radio 4. And what he's saying is that he thinks that its time is almost over, or that there's an insinuation of that. But yeah, I mean, he's saying that it used to be more robust. People, used to treat the audience like adults. In other words, you might hear an opinion you dislike.
Voltaire.
Yes. You're right, exactly, quite.
Absolutely. But I hate what you say, but I would die to give you your right to say it.
Exactly. I mean, what was great about the Moral Maze, what I enjoyed the most about it, is you could have a complete disagreement, quite a robust disagreement with someone, and then go and have a drink afterwards with them, and it's fine. So it's about that idea of being able to disagree and not take it personally.
But the other thing that strikes me, and it's quite profound, and that is that, in a sense, Ofcom's point about impartiality, in my view, impartiality is all about having both views.
Absolutely.
Even if one, as you say, some people will find it repugnant, and lo and behold, other people will find the other one repugnant.
Right.
If you hear both and are given the liberty to make your own blooming mind up, that's impartial.
But the problem is that there is one side of this debate who believe that disagreement of a certain kind is tantamount to violence, is tantamount to making them feel unsafe. This is the thing you get from activists all the time, particularly through social media. So he's right to identify that social media is part of the problem here. If I say to my employer, someone disagreed with me at work, they'll say, well, that's not my issue. If I say, I now feel unsafe because of someone's opinions at work, then it becomes something that they are obliged to act upon. And that's what he's talking about, is actually there are certain topics that the Moral Maze will cover that are quite contentious, shall we say. And if you delve into those subjects, as the programme is meant to do and has a sort of obligation to do, the response these days is different. So online they'll have people saying, you shouldn't even be talking about this. Yes. You shouldn't even have raised this issue.
When we were talking outside, and I walked away from you because I had to come and put my makeup on, what have you, a thought crossed my funny little mind, and that is, in a sense, it is called the Moral Maze because that's exactly what it is.
Yes.
It is not called the moral slam dunk for one side of the argument.
No. I mean, what's so great about it is they do make an effort to bring in all sides. The programme doesn't work unless you hear all sides because of the way it is structured. Yeah. You have two panellists on one side, two on the other, and witnesses on either side, and that's what's great about it.
The other thing, though, again, which I find slightly confusing when he says, Twitter is it's a cesspit, is that because it publishes things that people disagree with, or because it blocks and spikes people with whom it doesn't agree?
It's partly the nature of the format is that you have to communicate your ideas in a very concise way, which lends itself to just the short slam dunk style or even abusive style. It also invites people to curate their own echo chambers where they're not really engaging with other points of view. And also, the more antagonistic you are on Twitter or any other social media sites, the more likely you are to be retweeted, reposted. You get all the likes, and this is very appealing for people. It's almost addictive. When you write a tweet that goes viral and it's because you've been a bit antagonistic in it, you might do that again because you want those likes and retweets again. Yeah. It's built into the system actually to generate conflict, and that's not the best way to have. That's why you need these long-form debates like we have on GB News, like they do in the Moral Maze, where you sit down and you thrash the ideas out, and what you realise is you're dealing with human beings, not just an avatar on Twitter, so you don't just monster them and dehumanise them, you actually engage with them as a human being and respect that, OK, this is someone who sees the world different from me, but that doesn't make them evil.